Greetings, vinyl community. It is I, Mark Anthony K, and here to participate in this year's vinyl tag, which is the 2024 vinyl tag. Questions provided by Rob Walker. So I don't want to make this too long, so let's get into the questions. This was kind of easy. I found this a little bit easier this time than 2023, but let's get on with it. Question number 1. Favorite record you purchased in 2023? That was simple. For me, it was this album. Yes. Mirror to the Sky. This is the one of their big comeback records, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, people have counted out Yes for a long time now, but I was always one of these people who were always kind of hyping and keeping my fingers crossed that this next album that they were going to put out was going to be the one that was a return to form, and it is, in my opinion. This album is fantastic. Like, there's only one song on this album that I feel is weak, and that is Living Out Their Dream. Other than that, everything else on this record is fantastic. I'd say this is almost as good as Going for the One, better than Tormato, better than, a lot of the stuff that they put out too. This is a fantastic record. Mirror to the Sky is my favorite purchase easily of 2023. Next question. The last record you bought in 2023. The last record I bought and that I just got recently was Frank Zappa, Funky Nothingness. This is like a sort of a, not leftovers, but tracks that were done during the Hot Rats sessions. And I love the Hot Rats. It's such a great Frank Zappa record. So when this came out, I had to grab it. It's a fantastic record, double record on colored vinyl. And it sounds really, really good. If you don't own this, and if you're a Zappa guy, get it. Being a Zappa collector is very pricey affair, let me warn you, because he has over 150 records to collect. Far more than that, I'm sure. But, if you want to get them on vinyl or even on CD and box sets, you're looking at a lot of money. Number 3. A band or singer who released 2 or more albums in the same year. My favorite band of all time were notorious for doing this, as well as a lot of other bands in the 70s, but I'm going to go with my favorite band, and that's Rush. 1975, they released Fly By Night. Here's my little personalized notes, because I have so many pressings of each of these Rush records. I need to write down what it is and who did it and just my identification for them. And this one here is a 1977 Anthem Records first pressing from Anthem when they created their own label, and this was mastered at master disc by Gilbert Kong. So I have all this information on my Rush records. This is a 1975 release, and in 1975 they also released Caressive Steel, which some people say is not a good record. I personally love it. I think it's a great record. This here is a Canadian first pressing, 1975, mastered by Gilbert Kong as well. There's the center label. It was on Mercury. Then this wasn't on Anthem yet. Next up, the question is, if you could only listen to music from one decade, what decade would you choose? That's easy for me. 80s is my year, or my decade. I was at the right age at that time, and anything and everything that came at that time period heavily influenced me, not only as a listener, but as a musician and as a guitar player. And one great example of that is this album right here, Ozzy Osbourne's Ultimate Sin. This is, in my opinion, Ozzy's best record. I've always said it, and people argue with me till they're purple in the face that I'm wrong, but Jakey Lee is Ozzy Osbourne's best guitar player. I like him better than Randy Rhoads, and this album is the Jakey Lee extravaganza. What a great album. Ultimate Sin, Shot in the Dark. So many great songs on this. I mean, Fool Like You. What else is on here? Secret Loser, Never Know Why. Thank God for the Bomb. This whole record is fantastic. And this album is actually responsible for the debacle that was the Kiss album Crazy Nights, because when they heard this album, Ron Nevison produced this, and Kiss was like, wow, this album turned out great and was fantastic and sold well. Let's get him. And then they did Crazy Nights, and it was terrible. Show a record by a band or singer from Manchester. This was tricky because honestly, I looked through my collection and I don't own anything from Manchester, not a single band. But I do, yeah. But then I found out that was a lie but I don't own it on vinyl. I only have it on CD, and that is Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. I got Council Skies, which I think is a far better album than this one. But I had this one on hand, so just to show something from, from what is Manchester, the city. Noel Gallagher, High Flying Birds. This album, I don't really like this one too much, but Council Skies is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Great album. Number 6. Which band or singer did you listen to the most in 2023? This might surprise some people, but I was on a huge kick, especially from January till about September, on Marillion. I was listening to these guys all the time. I started collecting all their albums over the last couple of years. Hunted down tons of their UK first pressings. This isn't the UK first. This is a European first pressing of Season's End. This is the first album when they got Hogarth to sing instead of Fish. I like Hogarth better, in my opinion. Sure, I love the Fish albums too, don't get me wrong, but I personally prefer the Hogarth stuff better. I thought that they got a little more creative and a little bit more. They left this sort of Genesis thing a bit more behind when they went with Hogarth. So that's why I love this Marillion time period. Number 7, show 7 7-inch records. Okay, so luckily I do collect 7-inch records. Let's show a couple. This is my promo copy of Kiss Christine 16. As you see, it's a promotional copy backed with. Is it both songs? Yeah, it's both songs. One side is mono, one side is stereo. Next up, I got a mono of Beatles, the Twist and Shout single here. I believe that's what it is on here. Yeah, Twist and Shout with a Taste of Honey on side A, and then Do You Want to Know a Secret? And There's a Place on side B. I can show this really quickly. I just don't want to take too much time here. There it is. It's on the Parlophone. I'm not sure if Rachel's going to watch this or not, but that's for you, Rachel. There you go. Twist and Shout. Then I have here Marillion, Sugar Mice single, backed with Tucson, I believe it is the backside of this. It doesn't say, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Then, of course, What Collection Would Have to Be Complete Without a Rush single. Here's Closer to the Heart, backed with The Trees. This is a UK single. Then, of course, Mr. David Bowie. This is John, I'm Only Dancing, the original version, and also the John, I'm Only Dancing Again, the 75 version. So it's both versions, one on each side. Then, of course, you have Yes, Don't Kill the Whale single, and I believe Abilene is the other side, side B. Yeah, there you go. And shout out to my good buddy and friend David Donnelly. Here's a 7-inch of his album, of his single, The Venus Reaction, Crashing Up. Fantastic song. If you don't own it, go get a copy. I don't think there's very many copies left, but go on his Bandcamp and grab a copy. The Venus Reaction. And Lifetime is the B-side. So there you go. 7-inch singles. Next. Who's coming to your party? Choose 4 music-related people to form an imaginary dinner party. This was sort of simple. I'm just going to get my paper here just to make sure I don't get this wrong, because I was very pleased with my selection of this. Yes. So I don't understand why people pick all these dead people for these parties. I mean, come on, man. There's a lot of great people alive still that you can go to a dinner party. So here's my 4. Alex Lifeson of Rush, Nico McBrain of Iron Maiden, the drummer, David Donnelly, who's a fantastic guy, but I've never gotten to meet him face to face, so I'd love to get him over for a dinner party. And then the Canadian musical genius, and no, I'm not talking about Neil Young or any of those guys. I'm talking about Devin Townsend. And if you don't know who Devin Townsend is, look it up. We lost him in 2023. Immediately, this came to mind. Jeff Beck, one of my influences on guitar for sure, hands down. And this is one of the records that I got when I was pretty young. At first, I was kind of like, this is kind of lame. But as I got older and got into guitar playing a little bit more and more, I realized how fantastic this album is. This is a gold stamp promo copy. I don't think you can see it. It's just under here somewhere. Not that that even matters. There you go. But yeah, this is a fantastic record with Jan Hammer live. If you don't own this copy, what are you waiting for? Go and grab a copy. It's really, really good. Okay. If you could only listen to music from one country, what country would that be? That's very simple. It's England. All my favorite bands, and I love prog music a lot. Most of them are from England. Genesis, yes. Gentle Giant. If it's progressive, most likely it's from England. So that's the country for me. Most people probably thought about, say, Canada, but yes, I'd have to give up on Russia and Triumph. But other than that, there's not too much in Canada that I like. Name 3 vinyl community channels you discovered in 2023. Now, I did write this down just to make sure I didn't forget. George Bordon is a channel that I discovered in 2023, and I'm glad I did. George is a wealth of knowledge in music. He's a fantastic guy as well. I love chatting about Kiss with him. He's a big Kiss fan as well, and we both are musicians, both do a lot of engineering, and we like chatting shop like that as well. So I love jumping in on his channel. The other one I discovered is Justin Hawkins Rides Again. The singer from The Darkness has his own channel and his own sort of thing going on there, and I love watching his stuff. He does a lot of reviews of songs or reaction videos, and Justin's just a funny guy all around, so I enjoy watching that. And the third one is a very guitar-centric channel called Secret Weapons. It's a guy on there, I forget his name right now, but he does reviews of guitar equipment, mainly pedals and stuff like that, like guitar pedals. I know as Patrick loves them when I talk about guitar pedals on our live stream, but he does all kinds of different delays and choruses and flangers and distortion pedals and all kinds of things. And I've bought a lot of stuff this year because of his videos. Show a record that you bought when you were a teenager. This is easy. Kiss Alive 2. As soon as I saw this record in the record store, I had to get my parents to grab it for me, and they did. Love this stuff. I love Kiss. I've been hosting a Kiss podcast for the last, Jesus, who knows how long now. We're on episode 500 and some odd, and I've been there for pretty much most of them. So, Kiss Alive 2, teenage purchase. Love the band, and it's not. I don't think it's their best live album. I think Alive 1 is much better, but I do remember getting that as a teenager. Next up, show a funk or soul record. Me, sorry, can't show you. I don't collect funk or soul, and I don't own a single record of it. Show a record that you think everybody has, and then show a record you think nobody has. Well, the record, I took 2 for what I think everybody has. If you don't own this, I don't know if you've been living under a rock or something, but yes, 90125. This is a sealed U.S. Well, not sealed. I don't think it's sealed, but it has obviously the hype stickers and the original purchase price from a long time back. This is a U.S. copy. 90125. Owner of a Lonely Heart. All the classics are on here. Changes. What else is on here? Leave It. Yeah, Our Song. Hearts. Hold On. This is just such a classic record, and like everybody says, Frampton Comes Alive, everybody owns a copy. I'm pretty sure when this record came out, everybody bought it. This was a huge selling record. That's one that I think that everybody probably owns, and I think everybody probably owns this as well. David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. This is the 45th anniversary limited edition gold vinyl. This, surprisingly enough, is a much sought after copy because rumor has it, and it's all on Discogs and other sites, that this is an actual AAA cut of this album, believe it or not, which surprised many people, and it kind of surprised me because when I put it on the first time, I was like, wow, this sounds really, really, really damn good. That's probably why. Now, the records I'm going to show that I think nobody probably has in their collection. If you do, please put a comment, and I'd love to hear how you found this record. But this is Heads in the Sky. This is definitely Prague Rock from Toronto, and this is actually an independent release. Okay, this is like an indie release copy. Well, they were never on a record company, like they never had a record deal. But I discovered their album on a channel called Prague Line, on YouTube that play obscure, unsigned progressive music. And when I heard this album the first time, I was like, wow, this is really, really cool. And I left a comment, and the guitar player's son actually left a message back saying that they still had copies of it, that the father still had copies in his closet. So I bought a copy, and I'm really glad I did. It's really, 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 really hard to find this album. Okay, now, 15. She's Great, a record by a female artist you bought in 2023. I didn't buy a single female artist in 2023. Next. Your favorite video you posted on your channel in 2023 and the favorite video you watched in the VC. Favorite one that I did? I'm trying to think of that. I think probably the favorite one that I did is my interview that I did with either Billy Sherwood of Yes or... and his name always escapes me when I try to remember who the other guy's name was. The bass player in Steve Hackett's band. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna have to go with Billy Sherwood because I can't remember the other guy's name right now. What an idiot. Yeah, and that's the favorite that I posted. Favorite videos that I watched. I don't really have a favorite. I think I'm going to say something similar to what Mazzy said. I enjoy the live streams. To me, those are the things that I enjoy watching, and I like to participate them, whether either on screen or, or even just in the comments section area. For me, those are the kind of videos that I enjoy watching. I don't have a specific favorite one, but Rachel's Ghost is great. The live streams I do with Patrick, I enjoy doing very much as well. But that, I guess you could consider that me in that. So maybe I can't say that one. But there's a lot of others. George Bordon's live stream I enjoy watching a lot. Other than that, those are the two main ones that I actually pretty much watch. Rachel's and George Bordon's. Show me a record you describe as a 90s classic. This is easy. Pantera, Cowboys from Hell. This is an album that totally reshaped metal music overall. I mean, the sound of this album was nothing like what was out for metal music at that time. The production done by Terry Date on this album completely turned people and guitar players on their head and made people rethink their guitar sound in general and the drum sound as well. Cowboys from Hell, Primal, Concrete Sledge, Psycho Holiday, Heresy, Cemetery Gates. There's so many great things on this album. Absolutely fantastic record. And it is a classic. Anybody who knows their metal music will tell you that this is a classic, hands down. Period. End of story. If you could walk into an album cover, what would it be? I always thought about this when I was younger. I'd love to have been in this album cover. Moving pictures, one of those kids on the side there, or one of the people standing there watching as they bring the pictures in, or even being one of the guys bringing the pictures in. I would have loved to have been on this. This is, by the way, I believe a Netherlands pressing. All right, 19. It's like a greatest hit. Show a record that you're so familiar with that it feels like a greatest hit. Now, this is a known fact that a lot of people say that this is pretty much a greatest hits album. And it's ironic because it's also a debut album. The debut Kiss record. This album has so many songs on it that they played like up until now. Like on their 50th anniversary, like retirement tour, they still played tons of songs off of this. Cold Gin, Deuce, Strutter, 100,000 Years, Black Diamond. Like this whole album is pretty much a greatest hits. This is my mid-70s French pressing copy of the album. Sounds pretty good. Last question, number 20. Show me an album that was released in 1974. What do you think I'm going to show you? Rush. Debut album, released 1974. The only album that has John Rutsey on drums and not Neil. This is the... the info right here. This is a 1974 Canadian reissue done at mastered by Gilbert Kong, the great Gilbert Kong, pressed at Quality Records in Canada. Great album. A lot of people thought when they first played Working Man on the radio station that it was a new Led Zeppelin album. And this is the only album that they kind of had that sound. From there on in, once Neil got involved, it was a whole new ball game, my friends. Okay, so there you go. There's my 20 questions answered. I can't wait to watch everybody else's vinyl tag videos. And I hope you guys all have a great day, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye for now.